like to call the November meeting of the North Highlands Recreation Park District to order. This thing's playing, not recording over here.
Playing? Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. Don't you want to hear all
Okay, so I'm gonna stall for a minute while we get our little electronics figured out. Because I don't want to hear Miss Richards there and here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That will
You
confuse
don't
me.
want me to be instead?
No. So, as we get that figured out, first thing on the agenda is the approval of 2 sets of minutes, both from October 9th. One was the special meeting of the park tours. Any changes or corrections to those? Motion to approve is presented. Thank you.
Second?
I have a motion, a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, excuse me. I'm abstaining. I wasn't there. Then we have the minutes of the October 9th regular meeting. Are there any changes or corrections to those minutes? Seeing none, motion to approve is presented. Thank you.
Second?
The motion, a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain. Chairperson's report, actually I have a few things. First of all, I received mine at home. I notice everyone else got theirs here. This is great that it's in town. The only thing is I looked at it and I didn't think there was that much for board members this time personally. I was kind of a little disappointed, so that was just something I wanted to bring up, but everyone else got theirs, they can look at it. Next thing I wanted to mention is I understand the last 2 meetings that in my absence, the person that took over did an absolutely awesome job. So I want to thank Ms. Richards for doing that. And I just want to remind everybody, next month when we vote for the chair next year, you know, somebody was doing an awesome job, so we got to keep that streak going.
I don't know, Alan. I think
Last
you
thing,
know.
you're out of order now. Last thing is, I ran into Kay Dayhill this weekend, and Kay is doing great. She said to say hello to everyone. She is currently volunteering at the Citrus Heights Police Department, and it wasn't a mandatory volunteer. She's doing it on her own. But no, she looks good. She seems real happy, and everything's going well. So I'll move along to comments from board members.
I just wanted to let everyone know I stopped by the Halloween party. Great event. I'm just amazed on every year the staff does something really creative and fun and something I would never think about doing, and the kids had a great time. And I hope with all the painting activities and making, decorating, marshmallows with whatever candy dipping stuff, that it wasn't too much of a mess. That was the only concern I had, but otherwise, a great event.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Since we last met, I noticed an obituary in Sacramento Bee of a prominent member of our community that really played a key role in building the North Highlands community with large homes, Mr. Carol Brock. And I believe we have a park named after Mr. Brock as well. So I'd like to adjourn tonight's meeting in honor of Mr. Carol Brock.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Sarah, you're up? No? Okay. Reports from standing committees, I don't believe there are any. All right. Administrator's report, Larry, is there anything you want to highlight or add to your report?
No, that you brought up earlier about the CPRS conference in Sacramento, and in the report I mentioned that if anyone was interested in attending, that please let us know ASAP so we can get the registrations in. And I think that the reports stand on their own. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
On the CPRS, what's staff going? Do we know who's going to be going in?
We have put away funds to go for Scott and Mark, and then we get a free district registration. I may or may not be going. Not that important if I go or not.
Okay. All right, great. I just got a couple other things, and I'll open it up if there's anything else. On the letter back to Capri, on what we're calling our responses, where you said we're going to develop this, can we get like maybe an update in like 3 to 4 months if the things that we said we're going to do and what the status is of getting those done?
Sure, and just to give you a heads up, one was completed today.
Okay.
We have a staff meeting, as a district staff meeting in 2 weeks. At that time, the other two will be completed, and Terry has done a fine job of putting the 14 binders together in her office. No one can get to those until they go through Terry. So, yeah, they actually will probably all be complete within just a matter of a couple of weeks.
Okay.
So we'll come back to the board and
I appreciate that.
show you what we did.
The other thing is, I don't know if I'm saying it, but in noticing we have a new employee. So do we spell her name Cindy with an I or Cindy with a Y? Okay. So you didn't think I'd catch that, did you?
No, you catch everything.
Just wanted to make sure, so, I know. Does anyone else have any questions?
Couple. First, Larry, I think you and the staff ought to be commended on this Capri visit. Looks like a lot went into that. A lot of good glowing reports on what you and the staff have been doing here, the record keeping. It just sounds like a tremendous kudos to you and the staff.
Well, the kudos go to the staff because this was over a last 2-year period. And I was only here for about 6 months of that time. I'd love to take credit, but I won't. But one of the things we did notice, I should just point out, is that Capri spent 6 hours with us, where they normally spend about 3, according to.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And I think a lot of it had to do is because I was new, and we did have all the documents. They were not. They are all not in a single location, which made it easy to get to, and that is why we came out and mentioned to the board that. We now know the 14 different criteria. We created an individual binder for each one. Every time we have, as an example I used, every time we have a staff meeting or a staff training, everything goes into a single binder instead of it being a recreation training, and being a maintenance training or an office training. And then we have to go find where was that, which file it was placed in. So I think when they come back and visit in 18 months or so, I think the information should be readily available to them, and everything should be the way it really should be. But staff did a very good job of doing research and finding the things that we needed to find. But actually, it was very good. I learned a tremendous amount about Capri and what they're looking for and what they do. And the fellow who was here representing Capri did a really good job kind of educating me, so I appreciated that.
Well, congratulations, Scott, Terry, and the rest of the staff. Good job, well done. The other thing is, you mentioned in your Kaboom grant, we've been approved to the next level. What does the next level entail?
Well, the first level was a 15 or 17-page document, and the second level was that once they said that we had passed the first, we had to go out and take pictures of the site, and they had to have, the pictures had to be very specific. We had to place cones in a certain location, we had to mark them out, we had to really demonstrate what is there and what is going to. In our case, we were replacing an existing playground, so it was a little bit easier to kind of visualize what it's going to look like. But round 2 came back and says, great, you passed it, now we want more information. And that was more about, tell us about your build day and how what's going to be involved, and what is going to be that you're going to have to pay for versus get donated. And I have to be honest with you, this Kaboom grant is not the easiest to follow grant, because when we received the notice that we moved to the second round, I had 3 days to basically develop a plan. And how do I know? I'm guessing. And when I called them and talked to them, said, "Oh, just put down whatever you're thinking." And I thought, "Gee, this is a lot of effort to just put down what I'm thinking." So we had to put down what the date would be. We had to select a date. I can't remember what that date is, but we had 12 months to do it, but we made sure we avoided the first day of school. But it really required, about, are you going to provide lunches for the volunteers, and how many will be there? Well, I have no idea, so we give a number. So we put that together. It took about 5 or 6 hours to do the second round. I contacted them today because I had heard from them immediately that we got to the second round, but nothing's been said about where you go from here. So it could be that now they're really having to look at things a lot closely because they have probably more qualified applicants than they have funds to build playgrounds.
Well, when I passed the information on to Christina, she was real excited to hear that we got approved for the second round. And I'll be participating at Kaboom Bill next Monday and Wednesday.
Oh, so you'll be very experienced, and when we get the grant, you can lead the charge for the district.
We've already had modifications to the holes, the post holes that are spec'd out. And they want, the city is to see it. Wow.
So hopefully we'll hear soon.
All right, anyone else? All right, thank you, Larry. Scott, is there anything you wanted to add, right?
Just two quick things,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. I appreciate Diane's comments on the Halloween event. We here thought that our Mark and his team did a terrific job. And Diane was spot on in saying they always come up with something new and different. What we really appreciated was there was so many different things for kids and families to do. I mean, everywhere you turn, there was a game to play or an arts and crafts project. They really tried to make it an interactive event as opposed to just wandering around and eating cookies and making lunch, which they get to do anyway, but it was a good event. And, again, the vibe was very, very positive, and it seemed like everyone had a great time. The Jubilee actually took place the following Saturday, and as warm and balmy as Friday the 24th was, Saturday the 25th was the exact opposite. And I really have to give the organizing committee and all those volunteers that put that thing together a big thumbs up, because it was not an easy day to try to pull off an event for 3,000 people. They kind of waited out the weather a little bit in the morning and finally said, heck with it, we're going to go with it. They started setting up around 9:30. The event was supposed to start at 11. They had all the tents up and things in place by about 10:30, and right about then the clouds broke and the sun poked through, and from all reports it was a well-attended event. As I mentioned in my report, the great majority of the vendors did show up. I think they maybe had 20 or 25 no-shows out of 105. And according to Jeff Donlevy, who has been to our board meetings a couple times promoting the event, their count was between 3,000 and 4,000 throughout the course of the day. So now this is the first year since I've been here with the district in 7 years that was done. The event was organized by volunteers from the community. They've used a professional organization to run that thing in the past with pretty deep pockets. So if you get a chance to see anyone from the Foothill Highlands Rotary Club or the Visions Task Force, they were really the driving force and the energy behind a really nice community event. They already have asked us for a date 2 weeks earlier next year in October, so hopefully we missed that wet weather opportunity later in the month. So I think October 11th is the date we're looking at for next year. But it was a very good community event. So.
Okay. Is it Capital Campaigns that used to run?
Capital Campaigns did, yeah. Mr. Dickinson and Peters and Cerny were
That's what I remembered.
All right. Any other questions for Scott? All right, thanks, Scott. So Terry, I actually have a question for you.
Oh, okay.
So do we have a committee meeting set up yet?
Yes,
Okay, do we have a date?
yes.
Next Monday.
Mondays.
That's it. Thank you, appreciate that. Okay,
That's the facility.
yeah, for the TF softball. So item 7, we have 2 items of correspondence, and those will be handled very shortly under new business. Comments in item A, comments and report from citizen organization. Anyone like to speak on anything that's not on the posted agenda? All right, hearing none, I'll go ahead and move to item 9, unfinished business, which there's none. So we'll go to item 10, new business. Item A, request by Total Wrestling Federation for a wrestling show, toy drive fundraiser. Step on up.
Good. Good to see all of you.
How are you?
Good, good. We're back this year. Again, Tim, this time we're asking for dates still every other month, but this time we put together for the whole year instead of having to come back to every board meeting after every show. And one of the dates on here I just